Hi, my name is Natalie, also known as the Modern Stitchery on Instagram, and now on this corner of the internet on YouTube. I'll give you a brief description of what I think this channel is going to be about, and then a little bit about me. So as the name states, with the Stitchery, I have a passion and love for the fiber arts. I mostly focus on knitting, crochet, cross stitch, embroidery, but I get into all sorts of things. Recently, sashiko, some sewing. I do have some other hobbies. I just love the arts in general, but like watercolor, reading. I'll probably talk a little bit about reading. I read about 30 to 35 books a year, so I know it's all relative, but so it won't be a whole lot on this channel, but I'll dabble into it here and there. I don't think I'm going to follow any sort of format in particular. It's going to be a mix of, I think, vlogs and, project updates and statuses and telling me about my works in progress or whips, finishes, plans and hopes and dreams. One day to open up my own shop, hopefully. But yeah, and cadence, I'm not really sure yet. I'm kind of going through some life changes, which I'll go through in a minute. But I just needed to get this out there. In fact, this is probably the 10th or 15th recording. I have already recorded some content prior to today, which I'll include in this video. But the first one, I had something in my teeth. I don't like to take myself too seriously, but I was not about to put that for my first video. I might let it slide in a third or fourth, who knows, but not on the first. So a little bit about me. I am a 40-something-year-old mom and wife to 2 kids, soon to be in the fall senior and sophomore. I have fur babies as well, had them my whole life, but right now I have 2 cats, actually a cat and a kitten. Olive, who's over a year old now, and Breck, who's about 4 months. And hopefully you don't hear one of them wailing out there because I just could not take them in here anymore trying to record. So, so the big life change. So I used to work in corporate America for 20 years. I was in tech. And so as you can imagine with tech, layoffs. So I've been very, very fortunate. This is the first time I've been laid off this last summer. Because I'm in tech, I always knew it was a possibility. So we were really good about saving. So I've been able to take a break. The plan was always for me to retire early, but not this early from corporate America. So with that happening, it just kind of snowballed. The universe just laid out the red carpet for us, or at least I'd like to think so. After that, not too long after, my husband then had an opportunity for promotion, but it meant moving. I've lived in Texas my whole life, first generation American. My dad's from Mexico, my mom is from Argentina, and on my mom's side, it's a blend of whole other things. But we've always wanted to move. The plan just was until after the kids were out of high school, so this kind of happened a little sooner than we thought. We're all very excited. Of course, the kids mostly, of course, our son is a little hesitant, naturally so, but we really do believe this is going to be the best for all 4 of us. What else? So what do I plan on doing now? My job now is to get us moved. So actually, I just flew back from Denver and to go look at homes and houses and all that, and hopefully we'll have something soon, and then we're going to turn around and put this house on the market. I do live in the burbs outside of Houston, and well, we have to be there by the end of the summer. The company was very flexible with us about letting the kids finish out the school year, and then they'll pick up in the fall over there. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be chaotic. It already is. I feel like coming back from Denver house shopping, I haven't slept in 2 weeks. Your mind is racing, and moving is, like they say, one of the top 3-5 stressors in your life. And they weren't kidding. And this is my first different state move. Yeah, so that was about me. Hopefully that's enough to get you to figure out if this is a place for you or not. Like I said, I'm not following any format. I know so many creators, you know, that have different formats and ways they do things. And I love that. And I follow all different kinds. This one may just be a little bit chaotic at the beginning, but I didn't want to wait any longer. All my friends and family have been saying, you need to start a channel. You need to start a channel, because I love talking about it. And I don't have a lot of friends or family that have the same passion for the fiber arts that I do. My mom taught me how to crochet when I was 6 years old. I started knitting after my daughter was born. I've always done a little bit of embroidery, cross stitch, and I have friends that cross stitch and things like that, but they don't get into it as deep as I do. So I wanted to come in here, and so I don't talk their ear off. That being said, I do hope that they'll join me every now and then. My daughter crochets. Oh, she has some beautiful, she mostly does amigurumi and blankets and things like that. Maybe she'll let me, we'll have her on here to show some of her pieces. My mom as well. So yeah. What else? Yeah, so I think I have some clips of me knitting, like I'm doing some knit and chat. I recently, my daughter helped me reorganize this yarn. I like to do that twice a year. And so January and June timeframe. And every time we do it, it's so funny. It, like, over time, because of the weight and gravity, it goes down, and then take it all out and it just fluffs right up. Every time people are like, did you buy more yarn? I'm like, oh, no. Maybe a skein or two, but I know I've taken a skein or more to knit something or crochet something. So what else? I know I'm saying a lot. Sorry, that will get better. And to think, I did this for work. I didn't use any professional tools or anything. We always were very scrappy, but yeah. What else? I think that's it for now. I think I'll, you know, you'll start to see what I'm working on, and I'll talk, you know, talk about that. Oh, the other thing too, the timing of this is not only life change on why I wanted to start this, but I thought, you know, while I'm packing and organizing, I thought it'd also be cool to kind of go through, take y'all through that journey with me, but also show you some of this. It'll be easier to kind of show you some of the stuff that I really love using, or maybe hasn't worked out for me. And everything, take it with a grain of salt. I'm always surprised sometimes when I love when people talk about the tools that work for them or don't work for them. And sometimes I'm like, really? Oh my gosh, when they say, oh, I hated this. I shouldn't say hate. Hate's a terrible word. I didn't like this tool. It didn't work for me. And I'm like, oh, that's one of my favorites. Everything, take it with a grain of salt. You never know. That's what I'll say about that. But I still like to share my experiences and my journey. What else? So yeah, I may see you on the other end when I'm at the end of the clips that you see. And if not, I hope you enjoy. Please help me. I want to, not help me, but I want to know what you're working on. It doesn't matter. If you're painting a house, a room, I want to know about it. Like, what are you working on right now? Or do you wish you were working on? My goal is to just inspire everyone, and if not, just give you a place to feel like you're knitting with a friend or stitching with a friend, having coffee with a friend. This world is a crazy place, and I kind of needed a different outlet other than moving and house stuff. So yeah, so that's going to be my job for now, is getting us moved. And after we get there and settled, who knows? We'll figure that out. I do know I'll be broke for a while. So you probably won't see any purchases or acquisitions anytime soon, but in the meantime, I'll have lots to show, at least on what I currently have. And I do have a plan, hopefully, to stash down what I have, just working through what I have. But I'm not going to restrict myself from getting anything that want that I can afford at the moment. But right now that's not happening, and that's okay. So, all right. Well, thank you so much at least for stopping by and saying hello. Um, I hope y'all have a great rest of your January, and I hope to see y'all soon. Thanks. Bye. Okay, I wanted to make sure to give you a real before. This is probably one of the worst it's ever been, and definitely a reflection of the state of my mind. I've always said that to my family. The state of my office is the state of my brain, my mind. All right, we're gonna tackle at least surface level stuff today, and my beautiful art installation, or at least that's what I call it. But yeah, I just wanted to give a real view. Okay, clear desk for now. This is what it usually looks like. Nothing's going on if I'm not working on anything, but I'm sure it's going to get messy again here in a moment. But this is the side, at least surface area, we're going to tackle next. Okay, why do I do this to myself? I pulled these out of a project. No idea why. I cannot remember why. I have the symbols still on here. I think it was to put them up, maybe because I didn't need the colors anymore. I don't know. Why did I put them in here? Anyways, I just had to share. That's what I do. I'm sure other folks do that, but yeah. Okay, so finished cleaning that all out, and of course I found more things that I need to put away and needed to go on my desk. That's an update, but my daughter and I are now going to tackle that. Ooh, yes. Okay, so there's the before, and we'll have the after. Okay, so everything that was on the shelf behind my desk is now here on the floor. I did have a towel, but it wasn't big enough. So, anyways, um,
it looks so much more on the floor than it did on the wall for some reason, for me, maybe not for you. But okay, so my daughter was a great help getting it off and keeping it somewhat organized. I have to go take care of something really quick, so we're going to pause here. Definitely have to get this all back today, so we will be back soon. I thought about putting this into Ravelry, but um, I don't. I don't know if I'm in the right mindset for that. Maybe when I move, when I'm there, who knows? We'll see. Okay, so that's where it's at. Holy smokes. Okay, so I have my daughter help me. Maybe she popped in or in this clip or not. I don't know. But wow, it always looks so much taller. Um, she definitely did it different than I would have, but I love it. Um, and of course, probably in a few months, we'll have to take it all back down. But it got refluffed. Looks great and very, very happy with it. Looks like I gotta do some knitting with some ivories and whites. But yeah, there it is. Look forward to sharing with y'all what dyers and folks that I've been getting yarn from. This is probably over 14 years. But I've been knitting a lot from it. So I got books and stuff I need to go through. And yes, more yarn. I didn't put any of my mohair is in there. It's just mostly lace weight, fingering, some DK, some worsted, but it's mostly fingering and DK, I would say. A little bit of lace, a little bit of worsted, but yeah, very excited. So right now I'm knitting my third Sophie hood. This one's for my mom. She requested a gray one and another one. Yes, I realize I didn't change yarns, but I think it'll be okay because it's actually right at the head and it'll be wrapped around. I don't think you'll be able to notice. She requested a gray or some other color, and I happen to have this gorgeous yarn from Expression Fiber Arts. It's half merino wool and half silk, mulberry silk maybe, and it's a worsted weight. I've made quite a few things in this yarn. It's absolutely buttery, delicious, as she says, or something like that. It is a single ply, which, you know, for some things may not work very well. I will tell you, I know a lot of folks say that petite knits patterns are very easy to read and follow. I don't know what it is for me. I have to question myself almost every section for the way that it's written, and I don't know if that's to do with translation. I'm not sure, but
for me, it's not super clear. And twice now, the first two Sophie hoods, my ends did not match up. It was like short by a section. So the first two I did were mediums. This one is a large, but they were both short. And you didn't really notice till after it blocked. And I could have blocked it to where they were even, but it's a scarf. It doesn't really matter. But I thought that was really strange. I'm usually really, really good at paying attention to patterns and following and row counting and all the things, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the way they're written, the style, but I've been tempted to rewrite them for me, so it makes more sense. I don't know, but for me it's just not as intuitive as folks say it is. So that's kind of disappointing, but it's totally a personal thing. Well, although I'll say a good family friend of mine was here a few days ago, and she was knitting the same thing, and we've been texting and emailing. We actually got to see each other in person, and she had the same questions, the same problems. We're like, what? But I digress. So I'd love to know what y'all are knitting on, crocheting, making, just making. Could be anything. So like right now, I started reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, and for some reason those words don't come off the tongue easy for me. And so I always like to tell my sister or my daughter, who we're doing a buddy read with, and including my cousin, and I always come up with silly names like Carl, Dungeon Crawler, Carl, something like it, just trying to get it all in there. But anyways, we just started it, and I loved how, not realizing it, we timed it to where we started reading it around the time that the book takes place, which is the beginning of January, like January 3rd or something like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. And while I'm here, I'll probably mention this blanket I have next to me. I don't remember the name, but I'll include it in the description box. I did the crochet version. There is a knit version, and I used the advents of Yarny from Yarn Ink. I think I've bought her advents. I think this is my 3rd or 4th year buying her advent, and I may have taken a break and be somewhere in there, but I think this was last year's advent or the year before. It's mostly like pinks, blues, purples, and it was a fade. I accidentally got my colors mixed up, so it may not be to the exact one that she had, but I didn't use up all the yarn. There's still little scraps left. And then the main color is also from Expression Fiber Arts, a fingering yarn held double. I'll include which one I used in case you're interested. It is a different base, but I actually love how it gives it, you can't tell the difference too much, but just a bit, because the Yarn Ink yarn is sock yarn. So it has that bounce to it, where the Expression Fiber Arts, the specific base, does not. It's a little bit creamier. I don't know how to explain it. But I do love the contrast between the two. So much so, actually I started it on my Sweet Shop blanket, and I'll show that at some point. I'm using the same main color, and I'm using minis from Chelsea Yarns Advents from 2 years. I didn't get her Advent this year, but I think it was from last year and maybe the year before. It's 2 years that I'm putting together. But with this one, the crochet version, I will tell you, I did the mattress seaming, and I did not love it for this blanket. In fact, I left, most of the time I like to weave in my ends as I go, but with this one I left them because I had a feeling I wasn't going to be happy with the mattress seaming, and it could be just me, but I like a very, I don't know if I didn't do it tight enough or maybe I did it too tight, but it just seemed very loosey-goosey, and there's still a couple parts where I feel like it just could come like right here. You can kind of see when it pulls, maybe you can see, it's really gapey. I did hold the yarn double. I don't remember, maybe that's why. Well, okay, so it looks like when I seamed it together, I did not do 2 yarns. I don't know if I was supposed to. But anyways, all that to say, all the tails, I used the tails where I could to reinforce the seaming. This could be a total me problem, absolutely. But either way, it did. I did not do a gauge swatch because it's a blanket. It is quite small than what I thought it would be. I did not measure it, so maybe it's exactly to the measurements. So, but just from my visual, I think it turned out smaller than I thought it would. And that's okay, because actually all my blankets are huge, and this works out beautifully where it's just a nice small lap blanket. Yeah, but I love it. It looks like paint swatches. I had a really great time making it, except for the seaming. Highly recommend. It'll be interesting. I'd have to go look at the knit version. But I typically like my blankets crocheted because it has a denser fabric. I do have some blankets that I knit. I'll definitely be sharing those, but usually I prefer crochet, also because it's so much faster. It does take up more yarn. I think they say it takes up about 30% more yarn. So it'd be interesting if I were to do another one with another advent knitting to see how much yarn it would take. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I don't think I'll be doing it again. But just because there's so many others I want to make, but I think it did turn out really great, and it was really nice making the long strips look like, yeah, like rolling them into little jelly rolls was really fun. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was nice. Yeah, I did all that. Not too bad. Well, I'm back. It's Tuesday, January 6th. Still working on cleaning out my office here and there. I just thought I'd stop by and say hi while I'm working on labeling the gorgeous botanical yarns advent calendar from this year. So I think with most of them, after the advent's over, I pull them out and I label them the day. So I try to keep the order, and I label who it's from and the year. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm using some scrap yarn, and I'm just taking note cards and making them smaller, and I'll punch them and label them. I'll show you when I get there. But yeah, oh, and this is Olive. I hope you don't mind her giving herself a bath, but she's a calico and just over a year and a half, I think, for strays. I had her and her litter sister, Hazel. I get teary-eyed every time I talk about her, but we got them in September of last year from the person that managed our pool for us, and got them as kittens. And this one was a runt, and we actually weren't sure if she was going to make it. And then her sister Hazel, she was feisty. Anyway, she's been missing. Oh, I didn't say. Didn't mean to go there, but anyways, she's so funny. Look at her. She gets along with Breck pretty good. When he was really little, when we got him, and she didn't know what to do with him. It's kind of funny. He was too little, but she was really sweet with him. Anyway, so this is like the tag that I'm doing, the year, and then the day. Hey, Brick. Hi, puppy. She doesn't really cuddle with him yet. Like, she'll let him sometimes. I have some really cute pictures of them cuddling, but you want to come join us? You want to come say hi? Come here. Oh, this is him. He's a sweetie. He's a really loud purr, too. He's gotten so big. He fit in the palm of my hand. See, she's like, no. So when I would work, she would sit there for a good while. Last one. Today's Wednesday, January 7th. Hot mess, little sleep, had a vet appointment for Breck this morning, really early. Anyways, I thought I'd share, I was reorganizing this, and I thought I'd share what I had in these photo storage boxes before I put them back. This bottom one is just cables that, backup cables of electronics, charging things, batteries, things like that, that I may need. I have the ones I use the most in here, like for my Cricut and a few other things, backup HDMI, stuff like that. So this is closer on hand. This is up there on the top of the bookshelf. You may have seen in my intro, which, by the way, I recorded an intro and I had something in my teeth. So I have to re-record. Not doing that today, but another day. So things may have already probably seemed a little wonky, and that's okay. Anyways, the second box I did have felt stuff. So I made the Pearl Soho advent calendar with the Christmas tree and little ornaments. And then I've started to make this. I got it years ago. And I cut out the flowers and started beating them and started putting it together. And as it may or may not have showed up on my intro, I like things white. But I decided with this one, and it was like white and different metallics, which was right up my alley. But after looking at this one for a while, I think I want to add some color to this. So it's put on the side burner again. And I have felt scraps from the other Pearl Soho Advent, and I've bought felt for other projects so far. And I think it was Benzie, maybe someone else, or another designer that partnered with Benzie. Benzie is known for their felt products, but I have a Thanksgiving thankful thing here. I'm not going to get it all out, but that's what that is. And then I have some sheets that I usually wait till it goes on sale. I hardly ever buy anything regular price just because I try not to. Anyway, so there's some felt colors for projects that may or may not get used in that project. So anyways, I moved it all to this larger box. It fits perfectly in there. It was all in the photo one. And then now in this one, I have my sashiko. So love doing sashiko. I have my whip in here, which I'll show you. And my sister-in-law was traveling to Japan often, and on this last trip, because of the tariffs, I asked her if she had time, if she could pick me up more of the patterns, and you can see she did, and it was much cheaper going that route, and she ended up gifting it to me, which was really sweet. So I hope I can make one for her eventually, but this one is one that I've started, and so that goes in here, and then all the threads I'm using for that. But I have threads and needles, and it actually works out really nice in here. So that's in the second box. And then in the top box, I have mostly like specialty hand-dyed thread. So this is Color and Cotton. I did their club for a little while to build up a little stash, or to some it may be a big stash. And then I have in here colors that I did use for my Tequila project.
So I wrote on here what I used it for since it's a partial and what DMC number I swapped it out for. And actually I have it handy because it was in another box and I need to move it. So here is the finished object. So I love this. And it definitely is like a nod to my Latin roots. So it definitely reminds me of my grandmother who used to take a shot of tequila whenever she would feel sick or whenever she just felt like it with honey and lime. She was really sick. I also have some Karen water lilies, treasure braid, and some Krennic. Although I'll show you in another set of boxes that I have some other threads in. So I try not to use plastic when possible, but sometimes it's impossible. And I also try to use boxes and stuff that I already have. But like I said, not always. And you'll see I also like acrylic accessories, and that's a nod to my other grandmother. Growing up, she had in her house, all over the house, like in her furniture and things, it was all like acrylic, like rods, knobs, all kinds of things. And so that kind of stuck with me. And so I do have some stuff that has acrylic in it. Anyways, but it doesn't matter. I do what I want. So that's what I have the photo storage boxes in. And yeah, I move things around. So I'll show you more in just a bit as I move things around. Okay, so in the other set of boxes that you may end up seeing in a video or intro, wherever, I have these next to the photo ones on the shelf. And these are from the shoes Teaks by Squirrelly back when they were all the rage. I kept the boxes because they were fantastic. And just like the photo storage boxes, I just added some washi tape because to put something a little bit different. So in here, I have some DMC Etoile and a couple other extra like DMC light effects and some other ones, but it's mostly the Etoile. So whenever I need that, I go in here, which is rare just because I work on so many different projects. Then in the second one, I have regular DMC. Okay. Regular DMC, this is my backup. So eventually I'll show you my main storage where I go. And then if I'm out, this is where I go and I still can't find it, then I get more. And then in here, I have more Krennic. So I have some Krennic. I think I mostly have DMC metallics, the ones on the spools in the photo box, but I may have a little bit of Krennic in there. I need to look. Anyways, I have, oh, got an alert. Sorry about that. Mostly Krennic in here. Or only Krennic in here. So that's what I have in these boxes. What else? Yeah, so like I said, I was moving things around. Actually, my Sashiko was originally in this box. This was from, I believe, Dogwood, Dandelion and Dogwood Advent from last year. And I thought it was too nice to toss out. Definitely reusable. I did bend it right there a little bit, but it's still usable. Magnetic, still some decent storage. So maybe I'll put a sticker on here or something, but it's been great. And until it stops working, then I toss it. But yep, so there's a progress update. No minimizing really, just reorganizing.